won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
Sports, and more sports here at Pregaming. What up, and welcome into the best spot to catch all that late-minute information. I mean, look, we're going to talk about my card. That's what we do here, but very excited to share it with you guys. We'll talk cash flow, line splits, trends, angles. I got some bangers you do not want to miss tonight. We've added some knockdown, drag-out home run spots with player props. We'll talk more of those. I've got the Sharp Respected Betting Report and more for you guys this evening. In fact, I'm going to go into two hockey games. We'll talk about the Flyers and the Penguins. We'll talk about the Senators and the Hurricanes. Premium members have the other games over there at Win Club. Excuse me. Excuse me. Got a little frog in my throat there. As we get into it, we'll talk some baseball. I'm going to add a couple official baseball plays to my afternoon card for you guys. The Astros going to take on the Guardians. We're going to finalize that play. We're going to talk the Reds and the Rays. We're going to talk the Braves and the Nationals, the A's and the Mariners. How about that? We're going to load it up today in MLB. It's a Monday. It's a travel day, but it doesn't mean that we can't get ourselves paid. Going to go through two games in college hoops. Jeez, the NBA playoffs. I'm going to hit you with some player props. We'll talk about the Sharp Respected Betting Report, and then we will put a bow on this. No, what say you guys? How's that sound for tonight's agenda? Really looking forward to tonight. Kind of just got back from a late lunch, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm really looking forward to this card. I guess maybe it was the excitement of the hockey spots last night. Now, what was not exciting, full disclosure, the Utah Mammoth blowing it in the third period. I guess because I had the Buffalo Sabres, that comeback cancels out the Mammoth comeback, but I don't know. It was a little disappointing to say the least, but hey, that's okay. We will fire it back. What a crazy day yesterday, man. The unders. I was talking to Shark earlier today. I said I had the under in the I don't know. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. I had two unders and they got shit on at the end. Tampa, Montreal. That's right. I like Montreal as the side. I live bet them, but I ended up with the total that I gave out on the under 6.5. So we ate that L. Followed it up with the bullshit penalty in the end of that Sabres game. Unnecessary with like 7 seconds left. They cough up a goal. Shit that under out. And then the Mammoth. But hey, it was a good baseball day. Overall, got the golden ticket again. We had a nice NBA. I think we went 4-1 in the NBA as well. So seeing the board pretty clearly, just kind of riding that wave, man. I guess I was due. In hockey to take it out. I think we won like 7 straight. Speaking of, it was a great question that was raised earlier today. I mentioned on the show 14 in a row. Let me clarify, because I'm bringing you guys a Nerfy tonight. I have given out, since the start of the season, 14 straight Nerfy winners. In fact, 14-0 on the season. So as incredible as that sounds, it's been really good money. And I just laugh because I get every time, Shark and I talk about this back at the start of the season. We said, look, those are like sucker bets, right? Nobody makes money on them. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to try it. And away we go. So I wanted to clarify. Also, somebody had asked, why don't you cover baseball on this show? I do cover baseball. I cover it for an hour early in the day. So you guys have plenty of time to go check it out. I literally will give you my thought and opinion on every single game. I then hone it in and try to cover spots we didn't cover here, spots that I've either parlayed or added to my card, and or spots that have made it to the official winnable card as well. So you get all of the baseball action. It's even better than any other spots out there because you hear all the trends, all the angles, and you can make your own decisions as far as how you want to get paid. But busy, man. It's a busy time of year. We got so much happening. Happy 420 to everybody out there that celebrates the occasion. Hopefully you are sparking and I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully you're getting after it, man. That's all I can say is I hope you guys are getting after it because I am ready to get after it with you guys this evening. What else? What else? Oh, I know what else. How could I forget this? Listen, I know sometimes there's a couple things you have to recognize. There has to be a lot of vibrato in what a host says on the show. Because there's a bunch of fucking slackers out there on YouTube and Twitter that do shows. And you listen to them and it's like, my God, I just want to jam this fucking pen right into my ear. I can't stand listening to this guy. It's monotone. It's flat. There's no change in tempo. There's no change in the volume. There's no change in anything other than just want to stab myself in the fucking eardrums, right? And so sometimes I'm a little outspoken. Sometimes a little verbose too. However, I have self-awareness, first of all. But I have commented, and I will validate this because with two eyeballs, a guy that studies sports every single fucking day, with the exception of the 4 to 5 hours I sleep at night, nobody's watching sport. And that is why you tune in, because I'll do the work you guys don't have the time to do. And then I'll share with you what I found. Now, here's the difference. It's called critical thinking, okay? The critical thinking component to this, well, guess what that is? The critical thinking component is how do we connect the dots? In other words, I can read off their stats. This is why I think that I'm such a tremendous UFC bettor, because anybody can read off the stats. But, and I remember we used to get guys that would say, oh, he's never been subbed. Why are you betting his sub prop? Because he's fucking due to sub, dude. read the fucking tea leaves, right? Critical thinking is how we connect the dots. And what I've said to you guys before is Kevin Durant is a low character, fucking worthless loser. He is not a leader. And that's why he continues to float around. Like, when I was growing up playing hockey, especially in school, we had a pin cushion. You guys know, like, she just liked hockey players. So, every couple weeks, she was with another dude. We're like Kevin Durant. Now, what I'm reading here, I'm hoping it's correct, but I don't doubt it, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, this guy's a fucking low-life loser. Out for the remainder of the playoffs due to a lower body injury? Is that true? Is that accurate? What a fucking dirtbag. Huh? Unbelievable. Unbelievable to see this guy out again. You guys are saying that you can't see me live? Really? Am I live now? It says live, but still shows the pre-show page. Well, Spaghetti-O. Let's take a look. Huh. 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 We're not live? The hell happened? It's problematic. Be live for 15 minutes and nobody can see me? What's going on? Huh. Weird. AB says he can see that I'm live there. Were we having trouble with YouTube? Let's see if we can fix that real quick. Shows that we're live. Wonder why YouTube's not showing it live. Trevor Davis says, what's wrong with the live video? Hopefully we didn't encounter a strike. I shouldn't laugh about that. It's not funny. So bizarre. How bizarre. Maybe not. Just a blank screen. So weird. All right. Well, that was very weird. Can't capture the same energy and enthusiasm I had as when I first started. Let's see. We talked about kicking ass and taking names. We talked about my 14 straight wins in the Nerfy business. Somebody had asked me about that today. I said, yep, 14. In fact, I laughed with Shark preseason because I was like, yeah, those are sucker bets. Well, 14-0 to start the season off in Nerfy. So I have one of those for you guys today. I talked about Kevin Durant being a loser. I said, the difference between Sports Money Network and Pregaming and pretty much everybody else out there, almost unilaterally applied principle here, is critical thinking. In other words, I said this before. Nobody heard it. But I think what makes me such a stellar UFC capper is the ability to connect the dots. Okay. It's critical thinking. In other words, remember going back in school, right? Critical thinking wasn't just like, well, 1 + 1 = 2, Johnny. No shit. But like, what does that mean? How do you connect the dots and apply that information so that you can use it in a meaningful way? Critical thinking, boys. That's what I'm talking about here. And so I can tell you, just based on my observation, because I have 2 eyeballs, I live in the sports every single day, with the exception of the 4 or 5 hours I sleep. All I'm doing is consuming and absorbing sports. I can tell you there's a lot of jokers out there. There's a lot of guys that think they're handicappers. They're not. They're just telling you what they think is the binary outcome. Team A is going to win or Team B is going to win. It's applying logic, like seeing Kevin Durant play on 18 different NBA teams, right? Has trouble with Steph. Has trouble. I mean, everybody has trouble with Draymond. Goes to New York. Has trouble in New York. Now he's out for the season with lower back injuries. Or so I read, as it states that this guy is, dealing with a lower body injury. So the Houston Rockets now get a taste of the lack of leadership. And the reason I'm so critical about Kevin Durant is because you command top dollar salary. Doesn't mean you don't earn it, but like, dude, if we all go to work and do the same fucking job, but I only show up twice a week and you show up 5 days a week, and they start handing out promotions and raises and they give it to me, aren't you going to be pissed? The flip side is the guy that spends 7 days doing a 5-day a week job. That's the difference. So, look at, I feel like I lost a lot of the excitement and enthusiasm, but I guess the biggest takeaways here, somebody had asked me, will you cover more baseball on this show? This show will be used to cover spots where I've either moved on a position that I wasn't entirely sure of earlier, talking about changes to a roster for the later games. I guess that's really probably about it because, put an hour together for you guys at 12 p.m. So there's a replay out there. And the best part about that, you get a thought, an opinion, a player prop on every single game on the card. Now you can use that information for what you will, but nobody wins more at Major League Baseball than this guy right here. So we had a nice weekend. We didn't have a great day yesterday. I commented just in the world of transparency. I feel like I'm a little redundant here. Sorry for anybody that saw the early part of the show while we were having YouTube problems, but in the world of transparency, I dropped 3 fucking games. I dropped the Sabres under with a bullshit penalty at 8 seconds left. I dropped the Tampa under with a bullshit goal with about a minute left. And then I dropped the Utah Mammoth. I did live bet. I did bet the Sabres. I gave everyone the Sabres. I gave everyone, what else did I give? Well, everyone being a relative term. That's about it. That's all I got to say about that. NBA was good. On a run. I was saying that we were due to take some L's in hockey. This is where you don't really, I know we got to play the game, but those fucking guys that just say, oh, I'm 6-1. The problem is I'm very enlightened today. I'm an enlightened cat. The problem is when you see these guys posting that they're 6-0 in their last 6, they're really counting on you being a dummy. And it's frustrating. 7-0, 10, fucking Twitter dudes are 19. Now I am 14-0 on my nerfies and yerfies, but I am selective. And I try not to go with just like 1 or 2 games left and pick one. Like I want to look at the full card and come up with one. So that being said, though, the reason you don't hear me say that I'm 9-1 in my last 10 a lot is because I'm just due for a loss. The best of the best don't win more than 62%. So when they throw out there, they're 9-0 in their last 9, all they're counting on is you being the dummy. Saying, oh, this guy's fucking the best capper on Twitter. And there's so many of them out there. My friends excluded, but we do have to play that game because that's how the majority of Twitter works is we're 9-0 in our last 9. So you have to follow us now. And for some reason, Twitter thinks that's a good thing. Whereas we talked about this on the show on Friday, Shark and I laughed about a team that's lost 7 in a row. It's a good thing because you're catching a decent team at a bad point at their lowest. It's almost like a real smoke show, maybe she was dating one of your buddies and she was a smoke show and you're like, I wouldn't mind taking some time with that, and so you're there for the rebound, right? You're there to cushion the fall. That's what we're talking about here. And, after going 6-0 in the NHL, I was due to take some else. So I'm okay with that. We had a tough finish to the NBA season and then we won 3 in a row, I think 3 or 4 in a row. And so now firing it up, I'm excited for that too. So, okay, I digress. Feel like I had to repeat the show. I don't know what was going on with YouTube. Very strange. Very, very strange, but we are a regularly scheduled programming this week, Monday through Friday. You'll see Ramon Scott, 9 a.m., but you'll see me and Shark at 12 p.m. for Major League Baseball with Bases Loaded, and you'll see me at 5 p.m. talking about playoffs. We'll see if we can get our guy back here to talk some more NBA playoffs. I thought Friday's segment was pretty solid. All things considered, we had already covered baseball for the day. Literally went through the whole card. I swept that card, by the way. Then we got to the NBA, and I gave you some plays, and he gave you some plays, and the Cavaliers play for Saturday was easy money. So anyhow, I added some plays in baseball. It's funny how I was thinking about this card's an enjoyable card today. Like I got here and I was looking at it and I was like, baseball and NBA. But now with regards to baseball being in play, like we can enjoy some of these hockey games instead of having to squeeze the grip. Daddy beats us too many decisions in the UFC. We need knockouts. Well, we got Melot knockout in round 3. How about that first one? I was joking because, again, to play the game, we got to be the best in the world. Gets a lot of guys. So there's a lot of hammers out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of hammers. And to a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? Just whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it. There's not a lot of statisticians out there. There's not a lot of strategery. There's not a lot of strategerum in this space. And so for a couple of years now, I've been saying we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. And a lot of people got mad, I guess. Well, it's algorithm stuff, dummies. And now they're doing it. So, but we are the best UFC cappers. And I did give you guys that Giannis plus 1,200 round 1 knockout to open the card up on Saturday. I think I lost. Well, we all lost that fucking decision, right? Jamie Lynn Horth. Anyhow, you're not here to hear about how good I am. You're here to see how good we can be. And I recognize that. Thomas Maggio's in the house. But my guy. Says you like the over 6 in the Pens and Flyers game tonight. Well, let's open it up, Thomas. On account of you being here, sharing some insight and feedback, I would say I like the Flyers. I'm a homer. A couple of things. The Flyers have transitioned to a defensive-oriented hockey squad that finds high execution in scoring. The problem I had with the Sabres game last night, if you watched it, it kind of felt like I was playing against my buddy in fucking NHL playoffs or NHL hockey on PlayStation, right? Guy's fucking, and he's, he knows hockey, but he calls them the cross passes. The cross, it's the cross, it's the cross. And he scored a lot with it. But the problem when you get to the playoffs is you always have 2 defensemen that are playing a collapsing, not always, but a collapsing style defense, meaning they're kind of all, it's like the Alamo, right? Guys come across the ice and you collapse into the net. You collapse into the center. You don't block the goalie, but you within a stick length in front of the goalie. Now you got a lot of meat. You got a lot of bodies in front of that thing. And so it's a lot, those cross passes, A, don't make it across. And B, when they do, you're in such a poor quality scoring opportunity that you have to take a shitload of shots before you find some success. And the Sabres were in that position last night. I kind of feel like that's a little bit of where the Penguins are at. Not that they're necessarily a big cross team. But I just feel like they're just a little older. Now, the problem that they got right now is you got a young, energetic team that's figured out how to play some defense. Their goaltending is stepping up. I mean, this Vladar kid from the Flames comes out of essentially nowhere, right? And, I mean, not nowhere, but you know what I mean? Like he was playing, nobody watches hockey in Calgary. Even the Calgary fans don't watch hockey in Calgary. And so it becomes an issue for a team like the Penguins because now you've got an older team. And then you saw what happened with Sidney Crosby, right? Sid, the middle-aged man Crosby, no longer Sid the kid, frustrated, taking stupid penalties, just kind of stooping to the low of trying to use his experience to get in these players' heads and, ripping off helmets and just bullshit hockey, and then you see the Flyers, look, they'll fucking smash you. They don't care. It's old school hockey. They'll fucking bash your head right into the fucking boards and they'll feel good about it. And so, no, I don't like the Now, I'm going to talk about some trend here because there's a big one. I believe it's 14-2. The home team, game 2 of the playoffs in the first round. If they lost the first game, 14-2 in the second game. Sharp Respected Betting came in. They also took the Pittsburgh Penguins. And so, for all intent and purpose, the entire universe has lined up on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, I'll say this. Sidney Crosby, in the playoffs, in the postseason, and this is why I think they got in trouble because he's just stooping to their level right now. He's got 15 goals and 36 points all time in the playoffs against the Flyers. He's had 3 or more shots. He's a shooter in 11 of his last 14 against the Flyers. He took penalties. He was out of his game. He was out of his rhythm. Probably see him score a goal tonight. I'm going to go back to Porter Malone. I think he scores a goal tonight. Or Martone, excuse me. I gave you guys that guy that scored a goal the other night. First kid in 100 years. Yeah, I see that, Peter. Yeah. First kid in 100 years to be a teenager, make his NHL playoff debut, and score a game-winning goal. So there's something special going on with this Flyers team right now. I'm not going to get in the way of it. To your question, Thomas, I would still like to get the under 6.5. It's come down to the 6. I'm still okay with the 6. I don't see the pace and style of this game changing. And it is desperation time right now, do or die. So set to figure it out. Howdy, guys. I'm taking the Hurricanes. Puck line. Flyers. Please. Guardian run line. Money line. Rockies run line. Nuggets and lay it. But I'm in limbo on the Hawks. I might scratch them out. All in a parlay for sitting to figure it out. Okay. So there you go. That's my assessment of game number 1. I'm on the Flyers. Officially here. I will give you guys... Well, it looks like I just gave you a VIP pick. Looks like I gave you a... Oops. Hate when I do that. Porter Malone to get a point at plus 110. Sidney Crosby to get a goal at plus 165. And the Flyers to win the game. There you go. As much as I said, we don't have to bet on all these spots here. We can be fans. I mean, they're all price tag driven plays for me at this point. I like the fact that everything is plus money. Plus 135 for the Flyers. What I said it was for Martone out there. A goal for Sid, the middle-aged man, is somewhere between 165 and 170. So, I mean, you're getting, if we hit two of the 3, we're going to have multiple units. So, that being said, I don't like now, not just because of being a homer here, but I always like the way the Flyers match up against the Penguins. It's one of those irritating matchups that fucks with the team. Because the Flyers are such bullies, and the Penguins don't want to play that style game. So, anyhow, game 2, Senators and Hurricanes. We saw a 2-0 game the other night. Gave you guys the Hurricanes in that one. And I'm going to zag on the zig. I'm going to ying on the yang here. For a couple of reasons. Both teams have playoff experience. They've both been here before. Now, Carolina, respect, number 1 in the East here, but Carolina's a defensive-oriented squad. Obviously, we saw that 2-0 situation. But Ottawa's cheeky. And you bring in guys like Kachuk and, gold medal winner. You got some dudes that have the ability to kind of lift it to that next level and have already tasted success this year. So there's not panic. And that's the most important thing, I think, when it comes to the Senators team here, even if they were to drop this game tonight. Like, what I like about Carolina, they kind of cheated the system with Frederick Anderson, right? Good old blood clot Anderson, they call him. And, dealing with issues in his leg. I mean, it seems like for 2 or 3 seasons right now, whoever this guy's fucking medical professional is probably should, try to take a look at his legs. Cause if I know there's a problem, everybody else should know there's a problem here. So that being said, he's getting older. And so, yes, big game last game, but it's the shutout factor. Now, Linus Ullmark should be the starter in this game. I just don't expect him to get shut out again. And so, look, bottom line is the good offense defensive variable in this one. Teams allow less goals than the league average, but score more goals than the league average, right? So basically, stellar offenses and defenses. You take the road team in the bounce back position, and it's 126 and 98 over the last 10 years. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes in here. The dog on the loss with the bounce back positions where I want to be with this Ottawa Senators. Doesn't mean they're going to win the series. Now, the other factor that contributes to this for me is recognizing where the Sharps were betting their money. I mean, it's early in the playoffs, right? We still got the first round's always tricky because you got some shitbag teams in there, but the Sharps were betting the two most bet teams, the Utah Mammoth, to win the series. I'm talking about the Utah Mammoth, three of them. It went down in order of three. The Utah Mammoth, who I think are going to be in trouble against the Vegas Golden Knights. This Tortorella Carter Hart thing, I think, is real. Then you got the Ottawa Senators was the second most bet spot there against the number one team. Well, anytime the team's the number one team, it turns out that they end up taking. I mean, look, we've seen it happen time and again. The number one team in the East, Tampa Bay, number one team in the East a couple of years ago, gets swept, right? Like this shit happens. And then the other team was the Minnesota Wild, who went all the way down to a pick'em for that Dallas Stars team, right? So with that information, the way I utilize that is I look at this and I drill into the series and then zoom out to see where the Sharps were at again on this thing. And it just feels like it's that home split situation. I think that the Ottawa Senators, well, they got shut out, maybe not that bad. And it's a crucial game. So you're going to see them probably take some more higher chances. Not that they're going to panic, as I mentioned, but teams who got shut out against above 500 squads just dominate. As long as the line's not over a 240, like as long as they're not supposed to get totally nuked, the shutout bounces back at a 54% win rate. And that goes back almost 20 seasons. So it's not the highest of margins. I mean, I'd love to see that thing be 80%, but remember what I said. The best of the best wins 60% of the time. So when they show that they're 9-0 in their last 9, they're due for losses. Playoff games off the shutout loss are 53 and 27. I mean, it's really that simple. They lost. They got shut out. It's the playoffs. It's 10 years. There's your 66% win rate that we look for. So I like this opportunity of jumping in. And if it's a lower scoring game, why not take some plus money? 1-0 could win the game. Sitting and figured out says can't fade the Hurricanes at home. It's like catching a falling knife. I don't agree with that, but I respect your opinion. I've never been a big fan of that catching a falling knife vocabulary. What the fuck does that really mean? They say if you start betting the Mets, you're catching a falling knife. Well, as bad as the Mets are, what, they lose 11 in a row, 12 in a row? They're not going to lose 50 in a row. So finding the right time to time the market is what it comes down to. And look, 29 and 10 were the Hurricanes at home. So 10 times somebody caught that knife. I don't know. Respect though. Respect the opinion. Let's keep her going, guys. Let's go through. That's two hockey games. Now look at, just for fairness for the supporters over on Winnable, they do have some premium plays for the next two games. The golden ticket is out there for the NHL and the puck line. So, Lingo Wick, what's up? Lingo Wick says, why not send their team total over? Because I think the game probably stays under. I just think it could be one of those 2-1 situations now. You know what I mean? We're not talking about it. I mean, I don't think I would lean to the full game under. It's 5.5, so it sucks. Yeah, that's a good question. And it just, I always feel like, and I do this a lot. Like I'll tell you with the Nationals here. Do we have it on the list here tonight? Yeah. Braves and Nationals, Barves versus Nationals. Nationals first 5 team total over. That's what I got there. It's been cashing. I think we won like 14 straight times on that thing too. So we're not going to go away from it. But I always feel like when you get into that situation with team, I got another team total. I'll give you guys in baseball. That's something that I put on some parlay tickets. Anyhow, that's kind of my thought. Sitting to figure it out says, fuck CBS HQ. They suck, huh? Says the Senators will, dude, the sharp bettors love the Senators to win the series. Loved them. They just like them, loved them. And on the money line. Anyhow, let's go. Let's get through this stuff here, boys. Astros and Guardians. I did officially make a play on the Houston Astros. I talked about it today on the show, and it's now plus 115, so it's moved against them. This is the venue change situation for me. When a team's played more than 3 games, like 3 or more games at home, they get comfortable. They get fat and sassy. They get real complacent. Start showing up to the park a little bit later for the batting practice. Things just don't kind of jive the same way. And in that case, 31-19. Excuse me. The Houston Astros are bad. I mean, epically bad right now. But they're a bounce back team on a 3 or more game losing streak. They're 24-12. So obviously, case in point right now, they're right there. So we got those prime numbers that I always look for, the 3s, the 5s, and the 7s. That's just a system play for me. You know, it's a system play that I like to get involved with on the odd numbers, 3s, 5s, 7s. You don't see 9s and 11s. And I'm not talking scores, right? Like 9s and 11s. We know 9s in baseball. The books think it goes over. 11s, they're probably playing at fucking course. or the Athletics, or the wind's blowing out at Wrigley, right? Those are really the only 3 spots we see. So I get that. Those are key numbers, but I'm talking about my key numbers, 3s, 5s, 7s. And we don't really see 9s and 11s. So I'm going to jump in on this Astros team at plus 115 here. Guess what, boys and girls? We got some big money coming in on these Astros here in relation to the overall ticket count. What I mean by that is 31% of the bets and 42% of the cash have hit the Astros. But in relation, there's that positive differential that we're looking for that shows that the bigger bettors like this price tag for the Astros. And I agree. Yeah, maybe a little bit older in the lineup, a little bit longer in the tooth, so to speak here. But I always like to be involved in those percentages where the bigger bets are coming in on them. And I gave you guys some reasons why with those odds and primes. So just some consideration. Nasty Nates is like that old lady eating bread. Should have figured out. I already bet the Astros, dude, whether I smoke a vape pen or not, or anything else tonight. I already played the Astros, so they're in. I'm locked in. I got him at plus 115. All right. Because, dude, look, the Guardians, they still have one of the worst bullpens in baseball. Oh, nasty Nate, thanks. That old lady eating bread, huh? Sitting to figure it out says they're slow to start. They are. I just doesn't take me much to want to get behind. Well, it doesn't take me much to want to fade the Guardians right now. And, I'll just kind of look at it and say the public sees this team and doesn't know what I know. Look, it's too easy to sit there and say the Astros stink and they traveled and they played extra inning. Like everybody knows that. And yes, those are good spots. That's like the fade Sunday night baseball trend. Those are good spots. I get it. But like, that's the only reason I keep hearing people talk about, nobody's really getting in there talking about how bad the bullpen is for the Guardians. And so when you're missing, it's like the other day I talked about taking the Orlando Magic against the Charlotte Hornets. Everybody was, what the narrative was, right? The coach wants to get fired for the Magic, or doesn't want to get fired, but the team wants the coach fired for the Magic. And you got 2 of the best 3-point shooters for the Hornets that were 2 for 28 from the arc. And so they looked at that and said they've shot more threes than anybody else in the league that year. So they got to bounce back. No, that's what you're paying their due factor. In fact, it was the exact opposite for me. The entire planet's talking about the coach getting fired. Well, now I'm kind of bought into that a little bit. I want to fade that general narrative. Anyways, 2, these guys got to shoot the lights out and they shot like shit, less than 10%. They shot 7% that game? And talking about ball and con. And so how does that change when your back's against the wall in an elimination game? Well, it changes because now we're not going to let you shoot 30 shots from 3. We'll let you get a couple, but if you can't heat up, we got to play a different style game and we got to play physical and cover it from the paint. So, everyone else is zagging. I'm zigging. And that's why I'm taking the Astros here tonight. The Reds and Rays, boys, you guys have been patient. I'm going to give it to you. This is the spot. It is an official Nerfy play, no run first inning. Your boys cashed 14 in a row to kick the season off. Official plays. And it goes back to the Reds, the worst hitting baseball team in baseball. Now, the fucked up thing about the Reds here is they are, I think, the most profitable team. I believe I read today, if you bet $100 on them, you're up like 800 on the season. It's the most profitable team in baseball. Jesus, if they're not making it look hard though, huh? They're not scoring runs. Small road favorites are 21-3 in this position here. Game number 1 of a series against a righty. Kind of a tricky little spot there to want to fade the Rays, or the Reds rather, but Reds and Rays. Now listen, I want to take the over in this game. I almost came in here and gave you guys an over. I opted for the Nerfy. And I'll tell you what, by looking at the stats that we keep for bases loaded, I recognize that I lost like 4 fucking Tampa Bay unders in a row. All in the last 4 days or 5 days. 4 to the last. I don't think I played it yesterday, but I think I lost the 4 before that. So my only reason for giving you the over would be to take the over because I lost 4 unders in a row with Tampa Bay. Not enough meat on the bone for that. So just as transparent as I can be. I'll talk to you about where we're winning. I'll talk to you about where we're losing. I'll talk to you about why I think that's happening. And then we'll throw some of those critical thinking skills that we've been developing together. The Braves and the Nationals. I already gave you the first 5 team total over for the Nationals. Now, full disclosure. This line's coming down. By the way, that Nerfy, Tampa Bay, Cincinnati Nerfy over at Fanatics was minus 115. And so is this Washington team total over 1.5 in the first 5, minus 115. It's just the bet that keeps on cashing. So until further notice, I know it's elder, but I'm also in the middle of a fucking monster streak with it. So we're not going to stop now. Can't stop, won't stop, man. They even got it again yesterday. Bottom of the 5th inning, they're up 1-0. I think they scored 1 run in like the 4th, maybe. It was sweaty. And then they get to the bottom of the 5th and crap. 2 runs come across the plate. It's now a 3-0 first 5 innings, and the team total cashed again. So there you go. A's and the Mariners. I'm going to kind of borrow a play from the Sharp Respected Betting book here. I took the under in this game. You know, been talking about these Seattle unders. They've had numbers pegged around 7s all year. 7s and 7.5s. And so the league traditionally, it seems like these game 1s have had themselves a nice little overrun, but not for me, not today. I found a nice little long-term trend. Basically, as long as the teams aren't the shittiest teams in the league, they can play some baseball and play the unders. The opponent has to be off a loss. This is one of those little critical situations where just an 8 seems to be a little too high for this game. Both teams in that unique little travel spot. It's chilly in the Pac Northwest right now. I wanted to get in on the Mariners. I've got the Mariners in the parlay for the show. Line's dropping. 84% of the bets, 79% of the cash are on the Mariners. It's come down 15 cents. Now, total-wise, 77% of the bets, 76% of the cash are on the over 8.5. It's come down to 8. It's kind of a head fake 8, though. It's minus 105. So you've got Emerson Hancock and JT Ginn. I think both these guys can go out there and hold it down. I like that first 5, but I kind of got to be wary of some first 5. The fucking Tigers have been popping my first 5 excitement. Pop the Tigers and the Pirates. So this is 4.5. I might, because it's a later game, I might get back in there. If I do, I'll tweet it out to you guys. Just so you know where I'm at, my thoughts and my opinions. Sitting to figure it out. Says, even the sharpest pencil goes dull. What up to our guy, Razor Sharp Picks? All right. Let's talk some NBA really quick, you guys. Raptors and Cavaliers here. I think that this is kind of like I talked about with that Orlando Magic and Charlotte Hornets game. The style of basketball that these Toronto Raptors want to run ain't working. And this line has moved. Now, Shark and I had some interesting conversation earlier today around the total and the narrative or the movement from last game to this game as far as the totals are concerned or where they're marking this line. But this is another one of those spots, and he talked to us about it on Saturday or Friday for Saturday, where he said the Raptors knocked these dudes around all regular season, yet here they come in the playoffs, and they're an 8.5-point dog. Huh. And they got the shit kicked out of them last game, and now they're sitting at a 9.5. So you have to ask yourself, what's going on? And I believe that the reality here is that the Cleveland Cavaliers are just that much better than the Toronto Raptors right now. Now, I suspect that, they'll go up into the old 6 there, and yeah, they'll probably make a little bit of noise. They'll probably pick up one of those games, but I just think they're outmatched. They're outmanned. They're outmatched here. A lot of people like to fade these Cavaliers off the win, and it has been profitable. But regular season, postseason, it's just two different ball styles here. The Cavaliers last year, best team in the East, and where to get them. And you kind of see that reflected in the number where they're now playing in the postseason. As I mentioned that last game at an 8.5, moved up to some 9s. So I just think what happens now is you see these guys want to play, that 1-2 punch. And it's going to be tough for the Raptors to keep up here. I don't think they have the size and the physicality necessary to compete with this Cavaliers team, who, for all intent and purpose, those people that say you have to be there last year to get there this year, or however that conversation goes. Game 2 in conference play, the home team is a dominant 58-29 in the last 18 seasons. So playoff wise, same conference, totals at 9 or higher for a reason. And, we talked earlier today, at what point does the levy break? At what point does the trend have to be? It doesn't. The answer is it's not. These aren't your traditional trends like they're 8-0 at home. These are like historically driven numbers. And the reason that, we start off the evolution of the trend game. You guys have heard me talk about this before. And some of these fucking schleppos are like, oh, well, if they have sprinkles on their sundaes on Sunday, they come back and they fire on Monday. Those fucking guys aren't around anymore, right? Where are they? They're gone because they're coming off their gut. They're telling you what they think or what they feel, but they're not tracking it. They're not winning consistently enough. And so you run out of money. And if I'm not betting, I'm not coming on the screen to tell you what I think is going to win. Why the fuck would I do that? Who the fuck does that? Psychos do that. That's what happens. So, deep-rooted trends that go back 18 years that show you in these particular situations, and history repeats itself, you guys. You put the total between 175 and 211.5. These are where Vegas sets the numbers. And I firmly believe they use this data when they decide, because ironically, if it's a 9 or bigger favorite in game 2 of a series, they're winning at 67% over 18 years. So they're going to throw a 9 or a 9.5 out there and see who bites. And then based on that, the assholes that were making fun of the sprinkles on their snow cones on Sundays, well, they're taking the Raptors now because they're going, that's just too many points. It's not. The Cavaliers probably snocked the snot out of these guys by 15. The question around the total was kind of a lean to the over. Shark and I were talking about this thing with the Lucas to the over today. But I can't get there with playoff games. Playoff unders have been the key. Game number 2, I'll talk to you guys about here. The Hawks and the Knicks. Here's a little unique one. I don't play this one very often. But when I do, look out. Because we're going to take the Hawks. In the last 16 games, they're 16-0 against the spread in the second quarter. No travel at the Garden after getting thumped. And you know what? Of the sharp perspective betting information, that was the one spot that was ugly. Ugly. think it's a good Hawks spot here. I'm going to take the Hawks in the second quarter and the third quarter to knock them around, smack them in the mouth, and get it done. But 16-0. Nice looking little spot there. Let me make sure I got everything in that game there that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Where are you, Bet Stamp? There you are. All right. Let's see. We got the 9.5. We got the second quarter. We got Seattle under. We got the Ottawa Senators. I gave you guys the Flyers on top of that Sidney Crosby goal and Martone. We got Nerfies. We got sides. We got totals. All right, the last spot I got for you guys, I'm going to go to the old Ant-Man in that Timberwolves and Denver Nuggets spot. Probably the Nuggets are that good, but I took a player prop on some points. I think this game has a chance to get over the number of all of them. Anthony Edwards, 26.5. Jamal Murray got there. He was the point producer in the first game of the series. And it's a 1-2 punch. It's Jamal or Edwards. He's getting plenty of minutes. That's the one piece that we want to look at. He shit the bed the last game, so this one's an opportunity. He went 7 for 19 from the field the last game. So this is one of those spots where, unlike what I talked about with Ball and Khan there, this isn't a rookie or a young guy that's going out there shooting a lot of threes. This is a guy that averaged over 30 points a game against Denver in the regular season, 31.5 against them the previous year as well. He came off of a shitting the bed moment, so that means that they nuke it down to 26.5 for us. 9 rebounds, 7 assists. We need him big time in this game if they're going to have a chance, these Timberwolves. And I still don't know that they have a chance, but I just like to meet some opportunity out there. So I got 3 player props for you guys tonight. Anthony Edwards over 26.5. He gets the minutes. He missed the number the last game. They've steamed the line, sitting up to minus 110s and 115s now. And we're even seeing some 27.5s out there. So matches the criteria that we look for, you guys. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Ramon Scott in the house. He says quickly he's out with the hamstring against Cleveland. Yes. Hawks, second quarter. Spread, plus 1.5. Hawkers. Hawk Tua. And I'm going to take the third quarter. I'm going to go second quarter and third quarter. 16-0. All right. That. I see it now, Nate. Cook some soups and eat bread. All right, you guys, 6 o'clock on the dot. We got some games to get to tonight here. Good luck with your sports betting. If you could just kindly do me a favor and smash the thumbs up button here. We've been running hot. You guys know that. We went 7-1 on Thursday. Gave you a whole playoff preview breakdown for the NBA, including a winning bet for Friday and Saturday. We got a ton of baseball laid out there. I give you guys even more baseball. I'm putting my 14 straight Nerfy record on the line for you guys with that Tampa Bay Rays tonight. So let's get paid. Let's smash that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. Tell me if you're going to tell me. Tell me if you're going to fade me. But just tell me something in the comments out there. Shout out to Rob McMahon. Shout out to AB. Sitting to figure it out. Thomas Maggio in the house. Ramon Scott here doing his thing. AB, appreciate all you guys, man. Razor Sharp Picks. It's good to see Nasty Nate up in this piece. Lingo Wick. Appreciate the comments, my guy. Peter Gracia, Blake M. Daddy Beats. All you guys, man. I hope you have a great evening tonight. Get that cash. Stop geoengineering. I know you will, my friend. AJ in the house. Bad stuff here. I don't know how the start of the show went down the way it did here, but we got there in the end, you guys. So I appreciate you being with me till the end. Happy Monday. Happy 420. Smoke one. Drink one. Roll one. I don't know. Do whatever else you want to do with one. But do it on my account, you guys. Good luck tonight with your betting. I'll be